Yo, YouTube, what's up with your boy? Sports and Fitness Rants. I'm back, guys. Click that like button. Subscribe to my channel. What's up, y'all? Welcome back, guys. Welcome back, man. I got another great video for you guys today, as usual, man. You guys know the deal on this channel. So about setting the record straight, stopping the lies, stopping the narratives, stopping them from rewriting history, guys. And in this video, we're going to talk about this clown, Gilbert Arenas, again, because I love doing these Gilbert Arenas videos, because Gilbert Arenas is so easy to clown. Because every time he speaks, no matter what it is, no matter what the topic is, Gilbert Arenas gives you no good information. I tell you guys all the time, who waits for Gilbert Arenas to talk? Who waits for his videos? Who's sitting at home like, damn, I can't wait for next Gilbert Arenas video to drop, or the next clip to drop, or the next tweet to come out? He ain't giving you nothing about life, nothing about sports, nothing about money, none of it. You're not going to get anything of value from Gilbert Arenas, Gil's Arena, No Chill Gil, anything that he puts out, guys. And I saw something he put out the other day. This is yesterday. He put out his ringless, his quote-unquote ringless starting five. And he says that his ringless starting five of all time would sweep yours. All right? This is ringless starting five, guys. We're going to go through it because he had some guys on this starting five, man. It's laughable, man. Laughable for him to say that this ringless starting five would sweep anybody else's starting five out there. And once again, what this highlights and shows you is that Gilbert Arenas does not know the NBA's history, and that he's got a lot of biases, and that, once again, he's trying to come out here and promote some of these players that you wonder, why are you promoting these guys over other guys? These are the best guys you can come up with for your ringless starting five. Once again, I don't want to hear about people's opinions, man. Give me some facts and evidence. Makes sense. We're going to talk about this video, man. This guy's a joke, man. It would sweep yours. And I want to thank you guys. Everyone across the world, everyone across the states has been supporting my channel. Once again, guys, I am truly humbled, man, by all support, man. It truly means a lot, guys. Shout out to everybody in the membership, man. And you guys know what to do. Turn the volume all the way up. Hit that play button. Remember, these videos are for educational purposes. And let's roll. So, yes, guys, like I said, man, I came across this post, excuse me, guys, of Gilbert Arenas on Instagram yesterday, this was. And he had his all-time starting five for the ringless players in NBA's history. They're quote-unquote ringless players. Excuse me, guys. Players that have never won a championship in NBA's history, right? Pretty simple concept. You guys understand this? And he said that his starting five would sweep, right? Would sweep any of yours. That's the exact wording he used. This starting five will sweep any of yours. So he was obviously trying to get engagement, because that's what Gilbert Arenas is there for. He's there for engagement. He's there for clicks, for views. He's there for money and the fame. That's what Gilbert Arenas is there for. He didn't make enough money as a basketball player, right? He goofed up his whole career, goofed it up. So he obviously didn't make enough money playing basketball. So he has to come out here on the podcast and say a bunch of weird stuff for clicks and views, right? Cater to the LeBron James fan base, because that's how you make money. The funny thing is, for these LeBron James fans, is they really try to act like channels like mine are making money because we're talking, in their eyes, bad about LeBron James. Oh, y'all just hate on LeBron James for money and views. If I really was here for money and views, I wouldn't be hating on LeBron James, quote-unquote hating on LeBron James. I would be agreeing with LeBron James fan base. I would be promoting LeBron James. I would be celebrating LeBron James. I would be making excuses for LeBron James. That's where the money is. That's where the clicks and the views and everything are, is in promoting of LeBron James. When you don't promote LeBron James, you go against what the media is doing, the mainstream media, then they try to suppress your videos. My channels and videos aren't blown up like that. I don't have all this crazy stuff like that because of all these things. I don't have that. So that's what I'm talking about with that stuff. I don't understand what they're talking about when he talks about the starting five and the ringless stuff. And, like I said, we talk about these different things. It doesn't add up, man. Sorry, guys. I was distracted. Somebody was trying to talk to me here. So when we're talking about Gilbert Arenas, man, and like I said, what you have to do to make money, that's LeBron James, man. You know what I'm saying? If I promote LeBron James, I'll make money. If I'm not promoting LeBron James, I'm not going to make the money. I don't get what these guys think that, oh, you're just making money talking about LeBron James. That's not how it works. Like, what are you fools doing? Look at some of these weird LeBron James channels. They have zero content that they're going to give you. Zero value in their content, right? Zero. But they'll have way more subscribers than me. Way more subscribers. Right? Like I said, you see some of these weird channels out there, all these subscribers and stuff, man, because the LeBron James fans, remember, they make 3, 4, 5 different accounts. So if you ever notice, The LeBron James channels might have a lot of subscribers, but their views don't really match all the subscribers they have. And why is that? Because if you know, like I've noticed on my channel, the LeBron James weirdos will make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different channels. So they have all these no-name channels. So all of those guys will be subscribed to a LeBron James channel. So that gives you 5 subscribers, let's say, just over one person. You see how that goes? That's why LeBron James fan base is fake. It's not genuine. It's not real. Because a lot of the supporters, the subscribers, the followers, the people that are on his profiles, his platforms, they're fake. They're not real people, guys. Or it's one person with 10 different accounts, right? It's just weird people out here, man. Like the same people that make accounts with my face. This LeBron James stuff. So anyway, I know if I want to change it. So anyway, he has his starting 5, guys. Let's think about his starting 5 here. He has Patrick Ewing, Carmelo Anthony, Tracy McGrady, Allen Iverson, and James Harden. That's who he has, all right, as his ringless starting 5 of all time that would sweep any team, right? Would sweep any team. Now, Patrick Ewing, I have no problem with Patrick Ewing being there. Patrick Ewing, one of the great players to never win a ring. And I respect Patrick Ewing. You guys know how I feel about Patrick Ewing and a lot of the big men that Patrick Ewing went against in the 80s and the 90s. Patrick Ewing, a legit superstar of the NBA, man. To me, the last great New York Knicks player that ever played for the Knicks was Patrick Ewing. Like I said, a legit competitor, man. Never went and joined Michael Jordan or any of the other players or Reggie Miller or Charles Barkley. He competed against Michael Jordan all those years, man. He just kept coming back and coming back and coming back. Like I said, always representing for New York, man. Being that guy, the mainstay on the New York Knicks all those years, right? Being a true leader, right? So I have no problem with Patrick Ewing being there. You want to put Patrick Ewing on the all-time starting 5 of, ringless players? Great. Allen Iverson. I have no problem with Allen Iverson being on this list. You guys know how I feel about Allen Iverson. I've done several videos on Allen Iverson. We just talked about Allen Iverson the other day. Allen Iverson earned it. This guy was a true competitor out there, man. Played with the heart of a lion. Got knocked down all the time and got right back up. Allen Iverson, like I said, went out there and played the game, man. Like I said, didn't lollygag. And he was an icon, man, Allen Iverson. What he meant for culture, what he meant to the game. Like I said, he helped push the game forward. He's one of the great players of that era, man. Like I said, so shout out to Allen Iverson. And we all know he's one of the great players, never won a ring. We all remember his iconic performance in the 2001 NBA Finals versus the Lakers. So much respect to Allen Iverson being on there. But after that, he lost me, Gilbert Arenas. Allen Iverson, Ewing, okay. But you got Carmelo Anthony on there. Carmelo Anthony? This is your starting 5? This is the best starting 5 you could come up with? Carmelo Anthony you put on there? Listen, guys. Listen, I'm not a big Carmelo Anthony guy, man. I'm really not. And I get it, man. Carmelo Anthony had some offensive skills. Yeah, he could knock the shot down. He could shoot the ball. Had a really good post-up game, Carmelo Anthony. I get all of that, man. But that's where it begins and ends for Carmelo Anthony. I've told you guys many times. Carmelo Anthony did nothing at an elite level except for shooting. Except for his offensive game. That's it. There's nothing else he did elite. He never played defense. The man couldn't rebound for his position. He wasn't a playmaker or a passer. He never had leadership like that. I mean, he wasn't gritty or tough. I don't even know if he ever played 82 games. He might have played 82 games maybe once or twice in his career. But Carmelo Anthony, man, to me, you ain't going to win no championship with Carmelo Anthony, on your starting 5 like that. This is the starting 5 that you came up with ringless starting 5, Carmelo Anthony. And when you look at this lineup he has, he got Allen Iverson and Harden. So I guess those are going to be his guards. You're going to have T-Mac and Melo as your forwards. And then Ewing as your center. You're going to have a hard time with Melo out there, man. Like I said, he don't play no D like that. And he don't rebound like that. And the dude's a shot chucker. He's actually a shot chucker. When they try to call Kobe Bryant a shot chucker or Michael Jordan a shot chucker, Carmelo Anthony's a shot chucker, man. He didn't do nothing else out there. At least Kobe was playing defense. Jordan was playing defense. I mean, even Allen Iverson was stealing the ball at a high volume, playing passing lanes and stuff. So, my goodness. Carmelo Anthony? Tracy McGrady, another guy down there. Tracy McGrady, man. Come on. Tracy McGrady, a guy that we talked about, man, ad nauseum recently because of his comments about Kobe and Shaq and the rings that he would have won with Shaq and all sorts of nonsense. But we find out and we talk about, we highlight how Tracy McGrady never had the work ethic like that, not even close. I told you, Jeff Van Gundy used to talk about Tracy McGrady not practicing like that, not working in practice. He never thought that he had to work like that in practice. Tracy McGrady is one of those guys where he thought he was just going to get by his whole career off his athleticism, man, his God-given abilities. He never the work ethic of Kobe Bryant, man. Tracy McGrady was blessed with potential, skills, all this stuff to potentially be a top 20 all-time player, but the injuries and his mind held him back. He never worked like that. He was never, never a leader, Tracy McGrady. Never a leader. Never a winner, Tracy McGrady. This wasn't a winner, man. Great player, had some skills, right? But he was never a winner, never a leader, never durable like that, never tough like that. So why would I want Tracy McGrady? See, Gilbert Arenas just throwing names out there. Oh, Tracy McGrady, put Tracy McGrady, man. You can't stop Tracy McGrady, man. Can't stop Tracy McGrady. What did Tracy McGrady ever win? You can't. He's so unstoppable, he never won anything. Never even made it out of the first round? Come on, man. How about Carmelo Anthony? How many times Carmelo Anthony made to an NBA Finals? How many times? Never did, guys. How many times Carmelo Anthony made to a conference finals? One time in his career, I believe. Western Conference Finals, and was it 09? That was it. Never made a conference finals again. As a main guy, leading the team anywhere, nothing, man. Tracy McGrady, Carmelo Anthony together, that's a disaster right there. A disaster. And then you put James Harden? James Harden on your all-time ringless starting five? James Harden. Once again, Gilbert Arenas is just throwing out names to throw out names. They promote guys like James Harden and Carmelo Anthony like these guys are like that. They not like that. I'm telling you guys, when you talk about all time, if you want to say over the last 20 years, okay, all time. Once again, it shows you that Gilbert Arenas doesn't know the NBA's history like that. He don't care. He don't care about doing research. He just the guys that he likes, some guys he knows. I was actually surprised he put Patrick Ewing in there. Surprised he didn't put like Dwight Howard or somebody, or some weird stuff. But Joel Embiid, right? I mean, he puts Patrick Ewing, so I was actually surprised he put Patrick Ewing. And they say you got Melo, T-Mac, and Harden. Those three guys I'm removing easily. I'm not putting. They said if you want to keep Ewing and that's great. But how are you gonna sweep? Okay, remember he said this would sweep yours. This team would sweep yours. There's no team of James Harden sweeping anybody. There's no team of James Harden and Carmelo Anthony sweeping a damn team, man. And Tracy McGrady. I mean, who's playing defense? Patrick Ewing is out there by himself playing defense. He's got to cover for Allen Iverson, Tracy McGrady, Carmelo Anthony, and James Harden. And Tracy McGrady was a really solid defensive player, man, when he was, for a couple of years there when he wasn't all banged up with the injuries and stuff. But he never made all defensive team. You know what I'm saying? And I told you, man, Patrick Ewing, if you put Patrick Ewing in this era of NBA, he's going to have 4 Defensive Player of the Year awards. Not Rudy Gobert. Patrick Ewing would probably have like 6 Defensive Player of the Year awards if he played over the last 10, 15 years, man, because the league's an absolute soft joke. He would be viewed as the greatest defensive player of this era, easily. Not Draymond Green, not Rudy Gobert. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, none of these guys, man. Patrick Ewing, so the fact that Patrick Ewing, I think he made, 3 or 4 all-defensive teams in his career, that's a testament to the great players he went against. The Hakeem Olajuwons, the David Robinson, the Dikembe Mutombos, the Mark Eatons, the Shaquille O'Neals, the Alonzo Mournings, but all these great defensive centers that were there, the Robert Parishes and the Brad Daughtys, all the guys he had to go against night after night, Rick Smits and Ronnie Cycli and Tree Rollins, Manute Ball. Just every night you're just going against somebody that's going to challenge you down low. So I thought, I didn't come up with a starting 5 of ringless players, but I thought of plays that I would have subbed in for some of these guys like I mentioned. So like I told you, Carmelo Anthony's not going to be there for me. I'm putting Elgin Baylor easily over Carmelo Anthony. All right, they're small forwards. Unless he's going to have Carmelo Anthony playing the power forward, fine. But I would put Elgin Baylor way before I put Carmelo Anthony, man, on this list. Elgin Baylor, like I said, 6'4", 6'5", a hellified rebounder, a much greater rebounder than Carmelo Anthony, a greater scorer than Carmelo Anthony, guys. It's true. Greater scorer. I'm not saying he's a better shooter than Carmelo Anthony, better scorer than Carmelo Anthony. I said a better rebounder than Carmelo Anthony, better playmaker than Carmelo Anthony. There's a greater player than Carmelo Anthony, man. It's not even close. Carmelo Anthony's not close to Elgin Baylor, man. Not even close, guys. All right, so give me Elgin Baylor over Carmelo Anthony. Tracy McGrady, give me Charles Barkley. I'll take Tracy McGrady. I'll put Charles Barkley in there. Between Elgin Baylor and Charles Barkley, if I have Ewing, Baylor, Barkley, and Allen Iverson, or just had Ewing, Baylor, Barkley down low, my goodness, you talking about rebounding? My God, man, Charles Barkley's a mound, the round mound of rebound. A great hellified rebounder, one of the great rebounds in the history of the game. Elgin Baylor, probably the greatest rebounding small forward in the history of the game. Patrick Ewing, a very good rebounder. So, you're going to dominate the glass way more so than Melo and T-Mac would. So, I don't understand that right there. I would also put Dominique Wilkins over Carmelo Anthony or Tracy McGrady. Give me Dominique Wilkins. I don't believe Dominique Wilkins won a championship, did he? It's like Gilbert Arenas doesn't even know this stuff. He doesn't know. He doesn't know about Elgin Baylor, never won a championship. Charles Barkley never won a championship. You don't mention Charles Barkley. You don't have Charles Barkley in your all-time ringless starting five. To me, Charles Barkley is a given. Like I said, give me Dominique Wilkins over Carmelo Anthony. Dominique Wilkins is a greater athlete. He's a better rebounder, a greater scorer to me than Carmelo Anthony. Not saying once again he's a better shooter than Carmelo Anthony, but definitely a better scorer than Carmelo Anthony. Because, like I said, Dominique Wilkins can score on the break. He can go on the post. He can. I mean, Dominique Wilkins had like some of like the weirdest shots. Like he would shoot in some of the weirdest angles. He would have some of the weirdest shots. Dominique Wilkins, like these running clutch one-handers, these double clutch shots. Like I mean, because he was athletic like that. And like I said, Dominique Wilkins could score on offensive rebounding, put back dunks, all this kind of stuff, man. And to me, they both weren't like really good or great defensive players, Carmelo Anthony and Dominique Wilkins, but give me Dominique Wilkins on defense over Carmelo Anthony. What about, I don't know, John Stockton? John Stockton over James Harden. Like I said, I would definitely have those guys in there, the Wilkins, the Baylors, the Barkleys. James Harden's not going to be there. I'll put John Stockton over James Harden easily. Because I'm assuming he's going to have James Harden run the point guard position, have AI at the shooting guard. Because it doesn't really matter, I guess, with the positions per se. But why would I have James Harden on there doing anything? Give me John Stockton over James Harden. I would put him there easily. John Stockton never won a championship. But I guess, you know, Gilbert Arenas like to bring John Stockton up when he was crapping on John Stockton, right? Talking about how he was, you know, doing John Stockton dirty and all this other stuff. And we exposed the lies of Gilbert Arenas. And John Stockton was cooking you, fool. I mean, he was 40 years old. But give me John Stockton up in there. How about Karl Malone? He didn't mention Karl Malone. You wouldn't put Karl Malone. I'll put Karl Malone there for Melo or T-Mac, however you want to do it. Give me Karl Malone. I'd rather have him over those guys. I'd rather have Karl Malone than James Harden. How about Penny Hardaway? Penny Hardaway never won championships as far as I know. Penny Hardaway. And, I mean, he put T-Mac there. Why not Penny Hardaway? Right? Which is a hypothetical scenario, right? This is a hypothetical. This is what ifs and all this other stuff. This is not a true. So if you give me a healthy Penny Hardaway, give me him way over James Harden, man. And definitely Penny Hardaway over Carmelo Anthony and definitely over Tracy McGrady. To me, Penny Hardaway, guys, when I think about some of the greatest players that, you know, the what-ifs, the injury guys, like the Derrick Roses, the Penny Hardaways, Tracy McGrady, Grant Hill, if I just thought about those guys, you know, if you want to put in like a Brandon Roy, someone like that, right? Some of these other guys, a Greg Oden, a Bill Walton, some of these guys had injuries that kind of derailed them. To me, Penny Hardaway might have been the greatest player out of all those guys with the potential. What I saw him do on both sides of the ball, I mean, Anthony Hardaway was something else, guys. I think people forget about Anthony Hardaway. Remember, I told you, he made an All-NBA first team before Shaquille O'Neal did. But I would definitely go with Anthony Hardaway over James Harden. To me, James Harden can't shine Penny Hardaway's shoes. All right? It just can't, man. If they had a match, I know these are ifs and what it could have, and we don't like doing these kinds of things, but this is what Gilbert Arenas gave us. Penny Hardaway and James Harden on the court at the same time, it would be a nightmare for James Harden because Penny Hardaway could defend. James Harden can't. Penny Hardaway has size on him, more athleticism. He was a better finisher than James Harden. To me, he was smoother on the court. To me, he was tougher, more competitive. Like, remember, Michael Jordan said that Penny Hardaway, if he could see a player that they would pass the torch to, he said Penny Hardaway at that time. This was in 1996. He said that Penny Hardaway would be the guy. So, he recognized real. Remember, Jordan was wearing penny sneakers that year. He recognized. Grant Hill. Just mention Grant Hill. Give me Grant Hill over Carmelo Anthony, Tracy McGrady, James Harden. Give me him on that all-time ringless starting five. Grant Hill, once again, another guy to me, what he could do, both sides of the ball, just overall game, rebounding, playmaking, running the court. Grant Hill could do it, man. He was sensational, Grant Hill. Derrick Rose, I'd rather have Derrick Rose than James Harden. Hands down, give me Derrick Rose over James Harden any day. Give me Derrick Rose. How about Shawn Kemp? I take Shawn Kemp over Tracy McGrady or Carmelo Anthony. Never won a championship, Shawn Kemp, right? That I'm aware of. How about Iceman George Gervin? Iceman George Gervin never won a championship. Give me Iceman George Gervin over Tracy McGrady or James Harden. Carmelo Anthony, I told you, if I had to do a list of the greatest shooting guards of all time, I would have Iceman ahead of James Harden easily, guys, for me. I'd have Iceman above James Harden. So as you guys can see here, man, I know I've rambled on a little bit here, but Gilbert Arenas starting five, the ringless starting five is weak. It's a weak starting five, man. Melo, T-Mac, Harden. Like I said, Ewing and AI, I'm okay with that. No problem with that. Put AI on the court, man. Dude's a competitor. Put Ewing on the court. Dude's a competitor, man. And these guys are legit. I don't think that Harden's a legit competitor. To me, like I said, you put Harden in the court, he's going to choke it up. You're going to lose. I'm not putting Harden on my team. If I'm playing against Harden, I feel confident. I feel good about my chances. Tracy McGrady, yeah, like I said, he didn't have the work ethic like that, Tracy McGrady. He didn't want to work in practice. He had the potential, but he never saw it through. Carmelo Anthony, that dude's not a winner. Like I say, not a leader. I'm not with Carmelo Anthony. I was never a fan of him. I gotta say he's a good player, man. But to me, he never evolved his game, never did anything else at a high level. These guys were able to play the game that they played in the era that they played in because of the way the rules and the officiating was. They never had to adjust themselves or adapt their games or develop their games or become better defensive players or rebounders. They were never winners or leaders. They didn't have the intangibles of a lot of the great players. I don't know how you can leave off Charles Barkley or Karl Malone or how you can leave off an Elgin Baylor or Dominique Wilkins to me. It's beyond me. Karl Malone, John Stockton, Reggie Miller. Right? Would you put? I'd rather have Reggie Miller than James Harden. I told you guys before, I would put Reggie Miller above James Harden all time. Shooting guards. And like I said, Penny Hardaway, Grant Hill, Derrick Rose, Sean Kemp, George Gervin. I mean, just some of the guys I thought of that I'd rather have on my all-time starting five, ringless starting five. And to me, your team ain't sweeping a damn team. Not saying that this team is not good or win some games, but you ain't sweeping nobody with this team. Nobody. If I did Ewing, Barkley, Baylor, Wilkins, and AI, if I just did that, I think my team would beat that team. If I did Ewing, Barkley, Baylor, Penny, and Rose, I think we would destroy you guys. If I did Stockton, Baylor, Barkley, Ewing, if I even put Dwight Howard down there, you get Dwight Howard or, Barkley and Baylor or Malone and Barkley. Imagine having Ewing, Malone, and Barkley down low. My goodness, with like John Stockton and Penny Hardaway or Allen Iverson and Grant Hill or Allen Iverson and Penny. I mean, my goodness, man. To me, those teams are much greater than anybody Harden and Melo and T-Mac are on. But this is Gilbert Arenas, guys. He don't know what the hell he's talking about. He just talks and talk, man. And then he says, oh, we'll sweep your team. Gilbert, man, stop it. You're a clown, dude. We get it, man. You guys know the deal, man. I'll catch you guys on the next one.